I've got WPH pro Killian Carroll in this behind the short line. This is your first season that you've really been able to take advantage of, moving from Ireland to Boston somewhat this year, coming to the tournaments. What has it been like for you?
I mean, it's been a great experience because, I mean, back in Ireland, we only have like 4 to 5 tournaments a year, and they're all like spaced out. And, you know, like sometimes you wouldn't get to play that many matches. So, like, it's nice to have one tournament every month and to go see different places in America, which is pretty neat because, you know, it's always a good experience since I'm young to go travel and see a bit of it. And also they get the experience to play the top players once every month. I mean, you wouldn't really get that experience at home. I mean, you could train with them, but you'd never really get that competitiveness edge to play all these tournaments.
Talk about the difference of that. You have those 4 tournaments in Ireland, you have the ones here. Can you give us kind of a difference of the flavor that you get when you play handball in Ireland versus here in America?
Totally. I mean, see, like it's a different style of handball when you go home because when you go home, the ball is different and the courts are different. So, see, in Ireland, they play a lot more of a defensive game, and it's a completely different aspect of when you go into the court because their style of play is so different and such different shot selections where no one really here plays defense at all. It's all attack, 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 a very offensive game. So, I mean, it's 2 different contrasting styles, but I mean, the caliber of players at home is just like as good as here. I think it's just a very different atmosphere and different way of playing handball over here.
What do you like better?
I suppose now that I like better, I like playing in America only for the specific fact is that like there is a professional tour, and the fact that the courts are always very, very good. I mean, the courts are very grippy. I like that a lot, seeing as I use feet work around the court a lot of the time, and they always have heat. And it took me a while to get used to the ball. That was my only fear because it is very hard compared to the Irish ball. And you know, like that change in density is just very hard in the hands. But no, you get used to it after a while, and I've come to like the race rate WPH ball.
More calluses now or anything?
I think I always had calluses as long as I can remember, but it's just it's difficult when you get a bone bruise because you know you can't really play that much in like a 4-week span because you have to rest up and it's kind of annoying. But other than that, it's a great experience, I think.
The broadcast here now on ESPN3, WatchESPN. What has it been like for you and your supporters and family at home being able to watch you?
Oh, I mean, it is great because after all, like they do support me a lot. I mean, like, you know, it's good for them to see me, especially my family in Ireland since they're so far away. And I mean, I'm pretty sure they'd love to come here and watch me play, but you know, that's really not an option. So, but I mean, as long as they get to see me over the broadcast, I mean, it's like, you know, I suppose it's a good feeling for them. You know, I mean, but there is other players and like all my club, my hometown Mallow. I mean, it's good for them to see it, and plus they get to watch all these good games as well. I mean, it's an incentive for them to watch not just me play, but all the other good top players, because then it gives them a better specter of, you know, how to improve their games as well.
And these matches as well, all over social media, do you kind of feel like being away from home, social media also helps you kind of gain that support and let people watch and know what's going on in your life?
Sorry, say that again?
As far as like social media and Facebook and such, I see that you're on there somewhat. Does it kind of make you feel like, all right, I've got some people still there watching me, don't feel that far away?
I suppose, I mean, like, I'm really not on social media all that much, but I mean, it is great to show that, like, you know, I am doing this and this is a part of my life, and, you know, people then can recognize, you know, how I'm getting along with it, and, you know, people who do support me, then, I mean, it is great, I mean, because they want to see me do well, and, you know, I mean, it's only great to see that if it's on Facebook that everyone can see it.
I don't know if you have it on right now, but I've been wondering this, because whenever you have to like wipe your sweat or something, it seems like you have like some sort of undershirt on that you always wear underneath. Is that true? Is there like one shirt?
Yeah, I didn't wear it today actually. I mean, probably that's why I lost, but no, I'm missing no, it's this, it's an alter ego shirt. It's, you know, this superhero called the Flash. I'm kind of obsessed with it really. It's just an obsession really, you know. I nearly have everything of his, you know, like between pictures, capes, different things like that. But really, I just like wearing it, yeah. I wish I had more of them. I only have one of them, so
You do only have one,
yeah.
So do you then
I have
not
to wash
it?
Yeah, I have to wash it
Okay.
every time, yeah.
So you do wash it at these tournaments, so when we see you play every day, that thing does get washed.
Most of the time, yeah. I mean, I have played on it when it's been sweaty, but most of the time it is being washed, yeah.
Good luck charm?
I wouldn't say it's a good luck charm. I don't like to be really superstitious because, I mean, I think it's a bad way to be really, but I suppose, yeah, I mean, it can get to my head sometimes.
Talk about what brought you here. I know you have your girlfriend in Boston. How has life changed for you having her there, moving now to Boston and experiencing everything?
Well, I mean, it is great. I mean, she is a fantastic person for putting up with me so long and going to all these tournaments. And she actually does a lot for me. So, I mean, like, I'm a very lucky guy. And in fact, like, she reminds me, like, every single other weekend that, like, if it wasn't for her, I'd be dead in a ditch somewhere. So I can only imagine. But no, I mean, it's fantastic that I get to be with her in America because, I mean, long distance relationship in Ireland is, it sucks. I wouldn't put it any other way. But no, I mean, but yeah, she's done a lot for me. And our family has done a lot for me as well. I mean, I wouldn't really been able to come to these events really without them because they do a lot for me as well. They're really great people. To thank them as well, you know, big time.
You've told me many times that you really want to beat Paul Brady. He's kind of your guy. Is that growing up in Ireland? Is he someone that you always heard about, saw, play? Is he like one of those first people that you're like, geez, I someday want to play that guy and beat him?
Yeah, I think there was a couple of aspects to the point because he was such like a big influence in Ireland, and everyone was talking after like every tournament. Oh, no one's going to beat Paul Brady, you know, and everyone like feared him, and that really kind of annoyed me that people weren't really chasing to try and beat him. Instead, they were just saying, "Oh, it's Paul," you know, and just giving up to the fact that whole point. But you know, I kind of grew up to dislike him in a way because, you know, I grew up admiring Tony Healy in a kind of obsession fashion. You know, I liked the way he played, and it was kind of everything about him. But then, see, he could never really beat Paul, and then I was like, oh, geez, you know, I really want Tony to beat Paul because I really was like always cheering on for Tony, you know. And then that kind of added to it as well. But it's just mainly the point of that he's the world's greatest, and that like I always wanted to be not the world's greatest, but you know, to be the world's greatest at some point. That, you know, it could be questioned, you know, like, oh, if he was at his best, you know, how would he play at his best? You know, as in like David Chapman and Paul Brady, you know, that question's always out there. I'd like to be one of them guys and be up there seen as like one of them. So that's the main point all behind it. But it was just that like he was like the pinnacle of Irish handball, not to mention world handball. So it was just like he was the one guy that always crossed my mind. I would have loved to play David Chapman, and I would have thought the same about David Chapman when I was growing up. But it was only the fact that Paul was the top gun at the time.
Have you ever talked to Tony Healy about that? Has Tony ever said, yeah, I kind of want you to beat Paul Brady too?
No, I'm not sure. Tony's a really nice guy. I mean, he doesn't really talk about them things, but he is a gentleman. He gives me a lot of tips, and you know, he wishes nothing but the best for anybody. So I mean, that's what I could say about him. As he was once known to the gentleman of the sport, and really that is a great way of putting who he is.
You're known as that guy who's so aggressive on the floor, getting everything, even when you ref. And it just makes sense to me because you're like, well, you didn't really try for that shot because you're trying for every single shot. What do you do in training? What's kind of always going through your head when you're out there?
Well, I used to train a lot. I mean, last time, just too many injuries have been getting on top of me, and you know, I just hadn't really been that much motivated. But before, I suppose I used to train like a lunatic, which kind of hindered me in a way because I wish I'd developed a better game. I mean, I know I'm known for diving all over the place, but it kind of does hinder me a lot since I'm always on the floor. It always puts me in the back seat, and people get a lot of opportunities to finish. I mean, it can get frustrating for the other player that I get everything, but still, you know, I wish that I developed a game where I don't have to dive because my body suffers quite a bit, and I would just like to end rallies a lot sooner.
I always call you kind of the player that if I feel like the chair's being pulled out from underneath you and you know you're going to fall, then you don't quite fall. And it's like when you get those shots, I think you throw players off a little bit because they don't think you have it, and suddenly you have it, and they don't even expect it coming at them, which it's really fun to watch.
I mean, yeah, it is fun to watch sometimes, but then again, I kind of just
go home with the bruises though. So
I know,
I used to watch that.
I mean, I know how people feel because I mean, I've played out with Peugeot before, and him plays the similar game, and it does kind of get frustrating, and you just kind of don't have to let it get you. But you have to realize then that, you know, if he's diving on the floor, it's always a good sign. You know, I'm talking bad about myself here, but it's always a good sign because that means you're doing something to put him out of place. You know, and that's always happening to me. So I just need to develop a more methodical game and be more precise.
If it wasn't handball, what would you be doing right now?
I presume I would be playing another sport. I mean, I couldn't really see how I'd go, but I definitely think I would be playing another sport of some caliber. I mean, I was always kind of good at hand-coordinated sports, so that was kind of the same thing, you know. It would probably be like badminton or squash or, you know, tennis. I never really played much tennis, but, you know, one of them court sports, you know, squash or badminton or something like that.
Is there anything that you don't like about handball? Anything that frustrates you and you say, I might never play this again?
To be honest, I think it's a great game. The only thing is that I just find it sometimes hard to recover. So it takes its toll on the body. I mean, especially these weekends. But that's the only thing I have to say bad about handball. You know, I wouldn't be really here if I had too many things to say bad about handball.
Great, it's known as the perfect sport, right?
Well, I suppose for handballers, yeah, because everybody that plays the sport it's their perfect sport, but it's definitely my perfect sport, yeah.
Thank you, Killian.
Oh, thank you, Carmen.